Phil.
I'm good, man. How you doing? Oh my God, I look like Noodles. 1990.
What's up, Noodles?
Good, man. Ready to rock.
Ready to rock. What's going on, boys?
Not too much. Is your phone able to go sideways by any chance, or is it set vertical?
Well, you know what? The problem is
there you go.
I don't know if will it work like that? Okay, because I had to use my phone because it has better service in here than my computer does. For some reason.
Man. It's looking good. You're calling us from the studio in LA, I hear.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome, man.
So excited. How can you not want to walk in a room and just can't wait to play or write or sing or whatever?
No
it's
doubt.
Pretty cool. Where are you?
I'm over in Alberta, Canada, actually. So we're bracing myself for another cold season, but we're still ready to rock.
What city are you in?
Edmonton.
Get out.
Yes, sir. I know you guys have probably both been here many times.
I've never been to Edmonton.
Okay.
I remember seeing the first time I went to the West Edmonton Mall, and not only was it the biggest mall in the world, but you could also see the Oilers practicing on the rink.
Yes, right in the middle.
Yeah,
all too Canadian.
I'm gonna ask. There we go. A little more light there with this thing. So how you doing, Cassius?
Doing great, guys. Cassius, yeah, but hey, either way works for me. You know what I mean? It's can't blame you for saying it how it's spelled. But no, I appreciate you guys for taking the time. Of course, I know it's an exciting time for you guys preparing for tour and everything. So I mean, maybe let me know how you guys are feeling about getting back on the road for another run.
Kurt, you go.
Well, I'm ready. I would rather be on the road, but my kids are older. I've got a 16-year-old. I did get to go to a soccer game today, which was cool. And got, like I told you before Phil came on, we've got relatives here right now, kind of popped in, some folks I haven't seen for a while. So they're all out riding quads. And I said, I got to go do this interview. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. But I'd rather be on the road. We're stoked about direct support for Tesla, and we'll see what happens after that. But we got some stuff we're working on. So we just want to play, man. How about you, Phil?
Well, Kurt.
Are you ready?
No, man. You know what? It's
Phil just got to play this week, and I didn't know you did a little private play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If a musician doesn't want to go on the road, they're lying.
That's right.
Because man, getting on stage, there's still nothing like it. I even when I was just doing a ton of session guitar, say I'd be in the studio one week I'd be in the studio with like Kelly Clarkson, and then the next week I'd be in the studio with Chris Cornell. But getting on the stage on Friday night with my band, there was nothing like that. Yeah. I mean, and when you get to tour properly, and by properly I mean not in a station wagon,
right?
With the Marshall head as your pillow. I mean, there's getting to play night after night, man. You feel the camaraderie of every member of the band just solidify. Yeah. And then you feel the momentum as a unit, show after show. Shit, we're getting better and better. And then, that was the last show. There's nothing more bumming than that.
Right. It must go quick, too.
It's depressing, yeah. Because it's going to be over. Even those last few nights, it's like, fuck, this is going to be over. So, and then we wait and see what the next gig is. So it's
like, wait, what 7 words did you just say? What does that even mean?
That's it.
Yeah, that's like, what do you mean we're going home?
Yeah, does not compute, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a fact. I mean, it must be sort of a rush getting back into the way that things were sort of pre-pandemic. I mean, how many shows have you guys individually each done since the pandemic?
Most of them are together.
Yeah. I mean, after the pandemic, Phil, we did like 40 something shows with Jeff Tate.
Mm-hmm.
We did about
that was the
with Ingve. And then Phil had a Jovi run for a month. So he's had quite a few shows. Well, I mean, Phil's probably done over 70. I would say. And I don't know, we at least over 70. So
Wow.
But it's cool, man. I mean, you get to, I feel blessed that I get three completely different canvases to paint on. But I wouldn't, somebody said, hey, you have to give one up. I'd be like, nope.
That's it, right? They must be all like your individual babies.
Well, that's the thing with Kurt. People are like, how come, what made you want to work with Kurt? And I go, I'd never heard anything like that before in my life. So when you work with singers of all styles, and then you hit one that you've never worked with before, I was really intrigued, so he started sending me lyrics and we started writing these songs together. And, people, sometimes I write and people are like, wow, what made you think of that? I go, Kurt's lyrics. I wouldn't have wrote this if it wasn't for Kurt's lyrics. So that's what makes it special to us. It's not like I go into the vault in my brain of songs and go, this would be okay for Kurt. No, he sends me lyrics and I write to that. And that's why we create. I mean, it's kind of bold to compare it to like Elton John getting a stack of lyrics from Bernie Taupin and writing Tiny Dancer. It's comparing to that.
At the same time, it's not far off in a way.
Well, yeah, technically, right. Okay, let's just stay there.
We've reached a happy point there. I mean, no, I love that though. So Kurt, what exactly made you want to start sending lyrics to Phil? Was this a regular thing that you'd been doing, or what made you think of that?
No, I suppressed my creative side when I was like 20 because I was going nowhere fast in my band here in town. And I'm like, I need to figure out who I am, what I'm going to be, what I'm going to do. And if I can ever do this again someday, I will. So back in 2017, my oil brand Starfire was featured in a film with John Travolta called Trading Paint. So I went down to do a cameo in that, and they ended up offering me a speaking role. And the next thing I'm in an acting scene with Toby Sebastian from Game of Thrones and John Travolta and Shania Twain. And I'm like, okay, that was my sign. I've worked very hard to build this company. And now my oil companies, and I go, they can run themselves now. I used to do all the sales. I'd write every ticket. I built the thing from scratch.
And at a certain point, you don't have to do that anymore.
No, now I'm actually a real CEO and I can make decisions, but I don't deal with the day-to-day. I went and saw all my guys last week at a sales retreat because they were all in town and I happened to be in town. And I'm very happy with where it's all at. And I'm helping a lot of families. We probably got over 120 employees and their families. So that's awesome. So I did that, get back on track. I went down to shoot that movie and I got that role for whatever reason. I look at signs. I'm very intuitive. And then I got in the Halloween movie in 2018, right after that. Got killed by Michael Myers. Got killed. Yeah. And that year I was filming some other stuff in Alabama. And my first writing partner, Ben Trexel's from Birmingham. Okay. And one of my past colleagues in the film business said, what do you think of these songs? I go, I don't know. I haven't sung since I was 20, but let me put my voice. It's deep and different and my style on it because he sounds like a wedding singer and it just sounds bland. And I started writing with Ben. We took a demo to David Bendeth. He mixed it, still didn't like it, took it to LA. The COVID hits. My manager at the time said, let's look at these mix engineers. Chris Lord-Alge was on the list, but I thought he's like, there's no way in hell he'll talk to you. But he took the demo.
There you go.
Loved it. Loved my voice. Kind of discovered me, if you will, for the music side. And he goes, I'm going to show you what we can do with this Have a Cigar you guys have done, how we can really make it killer. And that's when he brought Phil and I together. I heard Phil's solo. I got chills. I about fainted. It was just so bad.
Such a solo.
Dude, it's one of the best solos on any song out there. And we met on the video shoot. Phil and I did Have a Cigar. And Chris said, Phil, you be Phil. Quit doing what everybody else tells you. Kurt, you be Kurt. You're going to sing. You're going to talk. You're going to be you. And then we started writing together, and Back of the School was the first song we wrote together.
Wow, man, that's insane. So Phil, I mean,
yeah,
what was that?
That's kind of it in a nutshell. And we've been writing ever since. I don't write with my old writing partner anymore. Phil and I send Phil lyrics, ideas, voice memos, and he puts his magic on it. Then how lucky are Phil and I, we turn it into Chris Lord algae, and then he sprinkles it with all the
magic dust.
Yes. That's how we write.
So much magic, right? I mean, so Phil, what was your sort of take on the Have a Cigar, the whole experience? Because you guys really took that track and made it your own.
Every time I hear somebody say something about that solo, it still surprises me, because I remember, okay, Chris was like, hey, this is me and you showing Kurt what we can do. Okay. So bring it. So I just brought it, and I just naturally take something, and I was, everybody's familiar with that song, and I didn't want to you want to salute a cover in a cover. You don't want to, do the same thing. So we kind of did our own thing, obviously, with the voices and stuff. And Kurt sang it. And one thing that I did hear was like, wow, I really want to hear that octave vocal. So I would do it. So you had my background vocals and my guitars. And then when I sent the session to Chris, he's like, hey, you got something for me to play for Kurt? And you know what? I hadn't done the solo yet. So I just whipped up something down really quick, just threw it down. And I sent it to him. And I said, hey man, I'm going to beat that solo next week. And, right. And then
you wanted to beat it.
I wanted to beat it.
Yeah. He wasn't sure.
And then, that's hilarious.
Right. So the next week I opened the session in my studio, and fresh ears listen to the solo and go, I can't beat that.
Yeah, I think that one was a decent take, right?
Yeah, that was decent. So I call Chris and I say, yeah, dude, I don't think I can beat that solo. And he said, I wondered what you were talking about.
Right.
And Kurt called and said, what the fuck? Yeah. And then it was like, oh, I guess I'm not the only one that didn't think I could beat it. But the thing is when Kurt and I met was to shoot the video for Cigar. And I couldn't even mime that solo.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's interesting. So it felt easy in the moment, but it was one of those things it was easy once.
Yeah. And the funny thing is when I tell people, when you play from the heart, you're almost a different player every day. So I haven't been that guy since then.
It's hard to do that again, right?
It really is, because it was all feel. All the timing. I go, where did I come up with that damn timing? I can't even do it for the video. What the hell? I think I do have to count it out. 1 E and a 2 E and done. And it's
like, reading the music notes. You're like, what I do,
Yeah. Well, I can't even read, but if I could, probably could have.
You would be, right?
But it had no passion.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing. Well, that's one of the things that you lose, right? And in the natural feel, you can feel the energy and the passion from that specific take.
Yeah. And that's what led to us actually touring together. We started writing songs together, started recording these songs, and I'm laying down like stupid guitars. And then when Kurt goes, I'm laying down stupid guitars thinking someone else is going to play it live, like every other record. Right?
Interesting.
But then when he goes, hey man, you got to be in the band, I was like, I don't think I want to be in that band. And then the more we talked about it, the more it made sense. When I started writing, you have way more invested in the entire project. And then, and I don't want somebody else messing up my guitars.
That's it, right?
But I do have to do them live. So I kind of like shot myself in the foot.
So Kurt, you were ready for this from the get-go, really, for you guys to take this on the road.
Yeah, I actually, after we met on Have a Cigar, I went out on tour, just hired some other musicians, and we actually played Have a Cigar. And I'm like, man, it's just nothing against any of those people, but it just wasn't Phil. And then we kept writing these tunes, and I'm like, dude, I can't go out and do these tunes. I mean, it's so unique. I go, it's got to be me and you, man. We write all this together. We do this together. We agreed we'd work around his schedule with John, and because he doesn't tour that as much anymore. And we're just going to do it, man. We're going to blow this up. And we both agreed to do it together. And we become great friends, and our families are friends. And we're just, it's been really, really cool since we met. Like I'm glad we're very thankful we finally met in life, but we're glad it didn't happen earlier because we might not have, this may never have happened, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, you're at unique points in life as well, right? Like we're saying about the, the unique takes, you also can't really recreate where you're at in life. And so maybe it wouldn't have hit the same at a different point.
Well, we have the same, we're the same age actually. So we would have been in high school at the same time. So when he sent me lyrics about, remember when we used to meet at recess and fight over our our girl issues.
Right.
We'd, now with all these, what do they call them? Cowardly keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them. They just hide behind the keyboard and just dog everybody. And it's like when I remember high school and getting into fights and liking a girl that somebody else liked, and you thought, okay, this is like knights. We have to fight for the maiden.
It's a duel.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that,
you intercepted the note, or you read the note that was passed,
Right.
And yeah, exactly. Or you got in trouble, or somebody else got in trouble. So when we grew up with all the same stuff, so when he sends me lyrics and I relate, I have something to connect to.
Right.
And I just pick up my guitar and I go, okay, this is going to be an aggressive one.
Right. And you unload, right?
Totally. And it's like therapy, man. Like and our music, and we deliver it in a live atmosphere the exact same way. We just deliver the message. And if you relate, awesome. If you don't relate, you're still going to get it, because it's just, it's honest. We're not making any shit up. We're just stuff that we feel daily or have in the past. It's just all experience. And I love when I see an artist write like that. So when we do it, it really hits home, and you can deliver the message.
I completely agree with that. You guys mentioned Jeff Tate a little bit earlier. Obviously, he appears on the track Burn Together. I'm just curious sort of how that came about and what the process was like for that track.
Yeah, that was, I had done that run with during COVID with the other musicians. We came back, Phil and I kept writing. I got new management at that point. Andy Gould became my manager. And along with Andy came Paul Gargano, who's really good friends with the Tates. And we were trying to find that right first tour to really play Work Hard, Rock Hard on our first EP that's out. And they arranged a meeting out in California. Jeff flew in with his camp, and I was out there with my guys, and we met for dinner, and we agreed to do a music video together. I picked the song Burn Together because I thought it would be a good feature I could hear his vocals, because Phil was already doing some high parts on there. Phil's still got some high parts in there as well. But I thought it would show me and Jeff going back and forth. And then we agreed to do a tour, and we were direct support. So how blessed am I to be able to do that? When we could have just started out having to play at little bars or clubs and all that, and I get to go out. Phil and I go out with Jeff Tate. I know Phil gets to play in arenas with Bon Jovi and stuff, but Phil treats every club, every place we play, theater. Phil brings it just like you see him in the arena. I mean, that's where we kind of launched. And everywhere we play, we build new fans. Even if we're opening for Jeff Tate, then we took on the challenge of opening for Yngwie, of Shredder.
Must have been a pretty cool tour.
Direct support, and we're like, all the Shredder dudes are going to be there. Is anybody even going to want to hear us? Because we're a rock and roll band, bringing our style. And we got new fans everywhere we play. And people 100%. Are like, thank you for being here. What a great night of rock music. Because it wasn't all the same, so.
Phil, what's it like for you sort of switching from so many different audiences and so many different venues, like we're saying? I mean, what's it like for you to wear all those different hats?
It was, at first I thought it was going to be weird.
Okay.
And it was way more weird.
It was more weird. Okay.
I mean, the first gig, right? So the last gig with Bon, and it couldn't have been puzzled together better, I don't think.
Okay.
But So my last show with Bon Jovi was at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville in front of 15,000 people. And then I got up really early the next morning and drove to Hartford, Connecticut, and jumped on a stage that was, I want to say, maybe only 50% sold. So like that's 250 empty seats. So it was kind of an interesting,
big shift.
A big shift. And I got on stage and somebody asked me, I'll start with that. Somebody said, hey man, you came on stage and you were like unassuming and calm. And then in 5 minutes you exploded into Phil X. Is that on purpose? And I'm like, no man, I was so fucked up. I was confused. I walked
like, where am I at?
And I thought, man, is this my 7th grade talent show? What's going on?
And you transformed.
But then, that's it. What happens for me, the next step is, okay, I have a guitar in my hands. I have a mic in my face, and I have these songs that I wrote with Kurt. This is what's happening. And then it all just falls into place, and then bam, Phil X is back. But it was really, it was quite a culture shock going from Jets to a bus bunk. But at least it's a bus bunk.
That's right. A lot of artists don't have that, right?
Right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't want my guys to, we love being around each other, and we need to be comfortable. We need to put on the best show. And if we have to we had to ride in a van once because our bus we had broke down, not our bus now, but we'll do whatever it takes. But, you got to be ready to go and stay in that routine and that groove. And I could see it on Phil's face when I woke up from my bunk and he's on the bus. I go, oh, you're here. It was like, he just looked like, what the fuck?
I was like, this is weird.
I've been hard.
But you know what's great? When you're in an opening scenario, sometimes you don't even get a dressing room. Right. So your bus is your dressing room. So it's just true. Stuff like that. It just makes it more convenient. And we want to do what we can do. And we'll hop over any hurdle you throw at us. But we're going to jump on stage and we're going to kill you.
That's right. That's the one thing that's a promise. I mean, Kurt, would you say that for you, your on-stage persona, is that something that sort of you feed off the crowd for that? Or do you come on stage as Kurt Deimer, like ready to go as a vocalist?
I've kind of, because I didn't do it for so long, and I came to that first tour I did without Phil, I kind of was finding my way to see if I liked it even or how I felt in front of a crowd. And then the Jeff Tate tour, I kind of, how cool is it that I've got Phil who plays with John, and he can give me all the tips and things he's learned from all the bands he's been in. Because it's a little overwhelming when you go on stage and you're playing with, to me, Phil's like iconic. And it's like, okay, but he's taught me so much, and I'm just kind of coming to my own. And he taught me, Chris has, just be you. And I'm a kind of a crazy, not a laid back dude when I'm on stage, but when I'm off stage, I'm a very chill, common sense thinking kind of individual. But it's like when we go on stage, and Phil's the same way. He's very kind. We're very kind to people. We both believe in the same stuff. We love first responders, our troops, everybody, frontline work. We want to give. But when we get on stage, we morph into our characters for the stage, if you will.
Well, and it's funny because, somebody will come up to me and they'll go, because Kurt will come up to me and go, hey, how was it tonight? You got any tips? Stuff like that. And sometimes I'll say something and somebody in the band will go, I think that was a little harsh. I'm like, hey, I'm not any harder on him than I am on myself.
Right.
Because that's the whole plan. And he takes what I say. And if it needs to become a discussion, it does. But the whole point is we're there to rock and roll, man. We just go out there and feel it and kill it. And that's what we want to do, I feel like, it could be anything, but I feel like, and I kind of want to dig him in the ribs sometimes, like he goes, hey man, we killed that room tonight. And I'm like, hey man, there was a couple of people in the first row. You missed them.
Right. It's like a brotherhood though, right?
Yeah. And then he'll go, and then he's thinking, well, I'll get him next time.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point, right?
Friendly
And then
I think about how I can improve, you know, but
that's it.
I want to see if this.
and he should do. I mean, he should. I mean, I am the face, the front man of the band. I am the one, you know, who's getting the crowd together, and I'm going to continue to get really good at it and much better. I'm nowhere close to what I'm going to be eventually. Just wait till we can play on a big stage and not have to pop over everybody's shit.
Right.
Like I've had to pop over shit every fucking show I've played with Jeff Tate and Yngwie, which is fine. We're direct support. We still do it. But when we got the whole stage, man,
it's a different animal.
Phil and I are going to go nuts, and that's our goal. But we can't get there if we don't kill this. So
that's exactly it. Like Kurt said it earlier, I get on any stage, whether it's 12 people or 12,000, 100,000. It's just I'm that guy on stage. Just I think where that stems from is me being a fan still. I still like going to rock shows. I know what I want to see on stage, so I'm going to portray that. And to me, that makes the most sense. You know, like I was 14 when I saw Van Halen on the Women and Children First tour, and it was like 4 superheroes on stage.
I bet.
Taking the world on, and I was like, it changed my life. And I'm like, man, what? And then you go see another band. I'm like, well, they didn't do that. Yeah, but I like that.
I want to do what that guy did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like what Van Halen's a great example. I saw the same tour. I saw the Fair Warning tour.
Okay.
That their energy is, that's what I want to bring to the stage. Not necessarily just like they did, but it was just so energetic, man. And the stage show was crazy. I just saw Kid Rock the other night. I just watched him. The energy's crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
he brings it.
He brings energy, and nobody wants to go to a show and watch a dude stand in front of a mic like this and just stand there or watch Phil strumming on his guitar, just standing there. So Phil and I want to bring it every night our way with our music, where people are like, because let's face it, not a lot of people have heard our music yet, but when they do, it blows their minds. They're like, man, this isn't like what everybody else is doing. So it just takes a little time, but we're going to do it. We're going to blow it up, and we'll be up in Canada before you know it, hopefully playing arenas. So
nice. Well, I can't wait to see you guys out here. And, you know, anything else you can let us know sort of in closing about the new music and anything that people can expect before the tour or afterwards?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, musically, there's always a growth with us because we just become more connected. I mean, I have favorite songs on the last record, but there are some songs on this new record that are just ridiculous. And I know everybody says that, but we're right.
That's it. This time is the real deal.
Everybody says that, but we're right.
I love it.
Right. Yeah. And the new, we're going to do an album. I'm, 99% sure, instead of an EP, as we talked about before Phil got on. We want to bring it back rock the way it used to, the way the albums used to be, cool artwork. We did some cool stuff with Norman Seep, the photographer, which people will be seeing. We kind of filmed a documentary, Phil and I together, along with Chris Lord-Alge.
Wow.
I've got my movie Hellbilly Hollow coming out, which features 7 of our songs on the soundtrack, a couple new ones, and which is really, really cool. And the people are giving it, everybody who's seeing it right now as it's going to sell and distribution are blown away by the movie. So we got Work Hard, Rock Hard out there. We released our single Hero in May, and our single on Father's Day, My Dad, which people can check out now. And just keep hitting us up on all our social medias, man. It's all under Kurt Deimer, and Phil X, and you'll find us, and we're just going to keep growing, man. And we'll just keep building the fan base with word of mouth and people like you having us on, which we really appreciate. So.
That's right. I appreciate you guys so much for the time. Kurt, Phil, thank you so much, and keep rocking. We're going to be watching.
Oh, you're very
you know what? Thanks for having us. I like your red and black checks behind you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, I just lost my Kiss record display. I had to make an adjustment to it, but we used to have that as well. So, wish we still had it.
Next time.
Next time, man.
That's like
Thanks,
your soundproofing.
Man, you've been great.
That's
Cool.
a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much, though. Really appreciate it. Rock up, rock on, guys.
All right, brother. Thank you so
All right,
much.
Take
See you,
care.
Kurt. Woo!
I'll see you, brother. I'll call you.